Hello, everybody. Okay, I think everything's all set. Wow, wow, long day today. Um, First day of actually having hired actually two people. One person is a friend of mine for Liberty Strategic. He's helping me with design work and research. And I also talked with Stevie, who might work uh, for me for Kind of Light Media. There's going to be an interesting month to see how things go, and interesting more months next month, the month after, see how things go. So it'll be pretty interesting. Plus, yeah, Shirley, we are getting hit with the nor'easter, the blizzard. I think it's going to dump up to 15 inches of snow. At least that's what the weather is saying, and winds up to 30 to 35 miles per hour with gusts up to like 50, 55. So it'll be interesting. I'll try to get my camera out and take pictures and videos. Um, I'm not going to go out in it really. I hope not. All right. So feel free to join in. You should be able to join using the Zoom link that's in the description box. I know it's kind of late, but oh well. Afterwards, after these predictions for 2018 and beyond, I'm going to go ahead and switch it to an open topic so people can just talk about whatever. Um, Dave, independent insider, he's been pretty sick. Hopefully, he's better. Everyone's been getting pretty sick. Let's see. All right. So I guess without further ado, no one's coming in. Let's see. I guess I'll start on my own. Wait, what's going on over here? Let me check something out real quick. There you go. I was wondering what was going on. Okay. So I guess hey, how's it going, Dominic? What predictions should we start off with? I guess the easy one would be Trump. Let's see, like things Trump will do. That seems too easy. Oh my goodness. I reset my computer, so my fonts that I had before aren't loaded onto it. I got to figure that out. Let's see, PNG selected. It's not going to look very good. Give me 1 second. Category selected. Good. And let's see. Studio mode. Good. No, son of a gun. I got it. Here we go. We're set. Yep. Aha, Donald Trump. So my prediction for Donald Trump, I think he's just going to be the Republicans' Obama. You know how people on the left were all excited about President Obama, and he kind of sold us out. Well, I think Donald Trump is going to be the right's Obama. Oh, great. My voice is starting to wither. I think he's going to want to push for war with Iran, definitely. He's going to push for war, North Korea, which will be interesting because no president's really cared about going to war with North Korea. I think it might just be the same thing, actually. Instead of actually going to war with North Korea, it's going to like just, feel like a big guy, I guess, tough guy by, North Korea threatening, and, Donald Trump can just, what's that term? overcompensate. uh, so, General Wesley Clark back in, was it 2003, maybe even before that, was saying that he was going to, um, there's going to be, what, 7 countries or something like that. Man, I hope I'm not even getting my facts straight, I don't think. Anyways, all the countries that they've been wanting to go to war with, they have. I think there's been maybe 2 or 3 in that list that we haven't really gone to war with, and I think we are starting to go there now. What else can I think about Donald Trump? The wall, I don't think that's going to be built. I mean, there's kind of a wall there, but it's not going to be the super wall. I don't think he's going to be, he's not going to be, what do you call it? Man, I'm horrible at these things. He's not going to be impeached. He's going to run in 2020, and I think he's going to win because Hillary Clinton is going to run in 2020. And I mean, I guess that's an easy one. Maybe I'll just replace this real quick. And hold on. One-man show, sometimes it's kind of tough. Okay. So, I mean, we could go back to Donald Trump and talking about predictions for him later when more people come on, if they come on. If not, well, I might end it shortly. No reason to have an open topic if I'm the only one talking. Okay, Hillary Clinton. Oh, also, I don't think Donald Trump's going to imprison Hillary Clinton, even though he promised it. They're friends. He's not going to jail her as much as everyone wants to, even the left, or I wouldn't say the left, progressives, independent people, people on the right. They want Hillary Clinton to go to prison, but she's not going to go to prison. Hey, Dominic, how's it going? Thank you. I'm not the only one talking. So before I move on to Hillary Clinton, what are your predictions for Donald Trump? If you have any.
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to go all, he'll go the rest of the term. I don't think they're going to be able to take him out.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff he's doing, I don't know. It's having some unintended consequences, I think, from like the fact that the Koreas are starting to talk now. We didn't talk for all them years. I don't know if he meant for that to happen, when he started acting like he was crazy, or if he just started acting like he was crazy so something would happen, But, that's one good thing that came out of it, the fact that those two governments are opening a dialogue. As for North Korea, I don't fault North Korea. I'll be honest with you. The history there of what the United States has done to them, how they reneged on deals, how they destroyed, went up and killed the people. I'd want to have a defense against them myself. Same with Iran. Iran, they're setting them up right now. They're having all these protests, and you can just imagine who's behind all that, and the bleed that they're getting from that, because they're drooling to get a war going there. Israel's right there, ready with them. So Saudi Arabia, you got the unholy trio there that are smacking their lips, to take some more territory. So, but I think Trump is there to stay. I don't know about 2020. It's still too early for that. But so and some of the things that are happening, whether by accident or by design, are positive.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be like a Republican National committee convention. Are they gonna have someone? Are they gonna primary someone against Donald Trump, or are they gonna have him just kind of be the de facto Republican candidate for 2020 for re-election? I think they're not going to primary him.
I don't think they would either. Who do they have? That would. That's not an establishment politician that people would even consider. I see Romney floating around out there now, and I don't think he would be able to do anything against Trump. I mean, he couldn't get support before, and if Hillary wasn't enough to scare people, Romney's certainly not going to scare them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I don't see anyone from the RNC beating Trump, I guess, even the nomination, much less.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
It's a little early, but he seems to be on a roll. And then I think he got to get somebody investigating Hillary, though, because that these people are all standing behind Mueller. Mueller's a tool. Mueller's a deep state tool. Mm-hmm. He has all that information on Hillary, and he's still trying to find evidence to do something against Trump.
Yeah. Do you think anything's going to come about? Well, we'll just leave it at that, because Trump seems to just kind of do the same thing over and over again. Tweet, talk about fake news. The mainstream media is kind of do what he's been doing, since he's been trying to run for president. Hey, Shirley, how's it going? We'll wait for Shirley.
Hi, sure.
Am I saying that right, or is Dom? Is it Cheryl or is it Shirley? I always say Shirley. I don't want to...
Sherelle, Shirley, or Cheryl?
She's putting her on her earpieces. All right, we got a representative from TYT here. Garden Gnome, how's it going? Oh. Hey, Rebel. Hey, Yake. All right, Shirley, can you talk?
Yes.
All right, awesome. This is mic test. How's it going, Rebel?
Jackie.
Hey, Ryan.
I'm okay.
All right. So does anyone have a prediction about Trump before we move on to Eric's favorite candidate, Hillary Clinton?
Oh, I don't have my other camera on. That's what's wrong.
Well, did anybody hear that Manafort is suing Mueller, Rosenstein, and the Department of Justice?
Yep.
For falsely charging them?
Did you read the whole court paper, the court document?
I didn't read the whole thing because I knew this shit was hogwash.
It's like, fuck, man. And then stupid Bannon, I mean, it's just like, God, can we just get Hillary out? And then...
All right, let's move on to Hillary Clinton. Give me a second here. Oh, could someone mute their YouTube? All right.
That was me real quick by accident.
Oh, no problem. All right,
I'm trying to find my other camera.
Everyone's favorite candidate, Hillary Clinton. Eric really likes Hillary Clinton, from what I hear. I think she's gonna run in 2020. What do you guys think?
Me too.
I hear Joe Biden is talking about running.
He's not gonna run.
He's like the decoy duck right now, dude.
She's gonna run.
Yeah.
She's gonna run.
Hillary Clinton's gonna run.
Yeah.
Oh, bitch can't stay out of nothing.
Do you think she'll win? I don't think she'll win.
No,
No.
she will not
Please.
win. Her favorability ratings are lower than Trump.
I have a feeling that maybe they'll actually have Bernie Sanders become her VP pick. Or do you guys think that'll happen? I think that's going to happen.
Do you think he would take it?
Yeah, I think he would take it.
I don't think he would.
You don't think so?
Nope.
I
Because
don't think so either.
No. They won't put Bernie Sanders with her. No. It'll be someone like Keith Ellison or something like that.
But I mean, to get progressives over and to join, I think that's just kind of like, oh, I guess Keith Ellison makes sense. I mean,
because to the establishment, Democratic establishment, Keith Ellison is a progressive when he's really
No,
not.
he's not all that progressive from an interview I just saw. He's starting to sound like Tom Perez.
he's the
I'm going to lead by my values, and my values are going to lead us to a win.
Is that what
That's
he
my
said?
Tom Perez. That's my Tom Perez impersonation.
Was that what he said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he always
that's
says
what he
we're going to live by
said.
our
God. Oh, okay. We see how well that did.
What about the Clinton Foundation? Do you think that's gonna go under?
No.
Or do you think it's gonna stay?
I thought they closed it.
I
No,
think
not yet.
not yet. Or
Oh, they
maybe,
lied again.
Yeah.
As
There's
long as it
always
keeps bringing
that.
in the 7+ figures that it always has done, they won't close it down.
Ever.
All right.
Big dreams that just feeds them.
It's a cash cow. I mean, why would you get rid of a cash cow? I mean, there's a truckload of money in it for them. It's like they're like, let's have it like the Clinton Foundation is like the vault, and the Clintons are like Scrooge McDuck, and they all go swimming in it.
I mean, even if they lose, they win. I wonder how much money that she actually gained from losing. I mean, probably with like books and whatnot.
Oh, you mean the book that where it's like it's not my fault, it's everybody else's fault that I lost.
Yeah, that one.
Sorry.
But I don't even think if she giving that money to the DNC. That's going in her pocket. The DNC really still can't raise no money. Who wants to donate to a corrupt company?
Well, it seems to be a lot of rich people.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
It's the people who donate to the Republicans also donate to the Democrats. So
Exactly.
Gosh, I had a lot of thoughts last night of what types of predictions I was going to do, but now my mind's a fog just because of today. Anyone have a specific topic to make a prediction on?
Going back to Donald Trump, because I missed that one.
Oh, give me a second.
And what do you think about Donald Trump, Brian?
Nothing's going to happen to him.
Nope.
He's going to remain there because he's a puppet. He's like, you know what I watched last night? I watched the Dave Chappelle show last night, the new one that he's released. And he makes this argument that the reason why he's so rich and so popular is because he says what other people don't like and he doesn't care. That's Donald Trump. He says shit that and doesn't care what anybody thinks about it. You know what I mean? And if they get upset, he just tells them to get fucked.
Yeah.
Which is
does.
how he has been, since I've been following him the last 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And like, I don't think they're going to get rid of, I don't think they're going to impeach him. There's probably zero chance of them impeaching unless he does something like really like bad. Yes. He basically has to blow up a country for them to impeach him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think blowing up a country they would impeach him. They would applaud him for it.
Yeah.
How they did when he dropped the bombs on Syria. They like, yay, Brian Williams like, oh, look at our beautiful bombs and our ships. I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to?
My prediction is that North Korea is gone this year. North Korea. So, Evan, you better keep hard.
I don't know. I feel like North Korea is a good country to have if you want to keep nukes around. Because
they don't need North Korea. They've got Russia.
I guess
yeah, because you got to worry about Russia. Because Russia allies with North Korea, I believe China, Iran, Syria.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a good way to keep our military in that part of Asia, near China, right? It's kind of
well. Here's the thing: is if they invade North Korea and take North Korea, they're right on the border with China, and China doesn't want that. China doesn't want an occupied land of America right next to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Donald Trump is silly enough to go in there. I think the whole look at our beautiful bombs and beautiful ships and look how beautiful they are is really going to play a part. I have no questions about GE, Boeing, who are the other military?
Lockheed Martin.
I bet you they're thumping on Trump's door. Do it.
Yeah. Raytheon, bang, do it.
Yeah. And then Trump's going to ask all his allies to come in and help him. So he's going to come and ask Australia. He's going to ask
Britain,
Japan, and the UK. He's going to do it.
Germany would probably go in.
Yeah, Germany. But I guess that the one good thing about it is the area is not unstable like the Middle East is. So if they take over North Korea, then they're not going to unstabilize South Korea, China, and Russia. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So but the North Koreans have got a very long memory. They remember the Korean War. They will fight to the death.
Hey, Garden, how's it going?
As they should.
Hey, Garden, what's up?
Hello, everybody. What's up?
Hey, Garden.
I can be on for a little bit, but yeah, North Korea.
Yeah, Trump invading North Korea. Thoughts?
It's not up to Trump.
Lockheed Martin?
It's not up to Lockheed Martin. It's up to a group of people, a bunch of bankers and a bunch of military industrialists and a bunch of people embedded in the military intelligence agencies. It's also up to China and Russia. There's no way that we're going in there without China and Russia's permission.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
We would need the green light from them.
Do you think we'd invade Iran before North Korea?
I don't think we're going to invade Iran.
If I
had to choose, if I knew for sure they were both going to get invaded, I would say we would probably invade North Korea first. Easier.
Hey, where is we coming at? I don't think I'm a part of that. We keep saying we. They will.
We'll just pay for it.
God, my
In more ways than one.
You know who are other than the North Koreans? Other than the North Koreans, I think the South Koreans are going to pay the heaviest toll for America invading North Korea.
I don't think we'll invade North Korea. Not yet. I think we'll deconstruct it more first before that's an option. It's just more of the saber rattling, man. Like, you see this time and time again, like every 10 years or so, they really get a bug up their ass about North Korea. And they really start talking about invading it and doing all kinds of other shit. We'll see, but again, you know, without the green light from Russia and China, I don't think we're going in there.
Yeah, see, I don't think Donald Trump sees it that way. I think he sees it that, and I know it's not just him who makes the decision. He's got all these so-called advisors with great ideas, big ideas, fantastic ideas. But I think it's more on the cards the more that one keeps talking about the fact that he can protect himself.
So people tend to talk about all the bad things that Trump has done or will do. Is there anything good that he's going to do before he leaves office?
Well, I mean, let's look at what he's done good so far, I guess. I mean, TPP.
Stop the TPP.
Yeah,
That's true, and plus the media that elevated him, the ones that cheat, the ones that worked for the cunt, Hillary Clinton.
That's an excellent point.
Cheated Bernie Sanders and elevated the president that is in there today. The people that should be, you know, the people that should, the people that are pointing the fingers at us should be pointing the fingers at Hillary Clinton and the fucking DNC and the mainstream media that fucking put Trump in there in the fucking first place.
That's
honestly,
exactly what I was going to say.
Because I'm really tired of like these lecturing, moral authority, ivory tower lecturing motherfuckers. I am sick of them. They go and point the fucking finger. They throw these fucking useless labels that just want to spew fucking nonsense and distraction. Rather, they would rather hide from a conversation like a fucking social justice warrior, pussy hat wearing, censorship loving pussy. I don't fucking care.
Are you talking about the guy who blocked you on Twitter today?
I think I know that.
Oh hell yeah! I mean that guy he lectured from a moral high ground ivory tower.
What was he saying, dude?
Well, whatchamacallit? Let me bring you know what? Let me bring up those tweets because I actually did take snapshots.
While you're bringing up that tweet, I think the one good thing about Trump is brought up how corrupt the system is, and that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic thing.
How corrupt the media is. That's a good thing.
Will it result in any real change to end corruption?
Well,
it already has, in a sense. It's resulted in change. I wouldn't say it's eliminated corruption, but Trump has changed the media landscape.
Yeah, I mean, would have Comey and Mueller be in the situation that they're in now if it wasn't for all this corruption and so forth? If it had all just been swept under the carpet, Hillary Clinton's in as president, and everything's just swept under the carpet, like Clinton style. I think you're going to have to see this President Trump gone, and then another president in for it to actually really start to change in a positive way.
Eric, go ahead.
I was also going to say, you know what? The media that brought up Trump can fucking bring them down.
Well, which ones specifically, like MSNBC, CNN?
Oh, fuck yeah. He should hold those motherfuckers accountable. Plus, they colluded with Hillary Clinton. Looking at the DNC and the Podesta emails, they fucking colluded with Hillary Clinton's campaign. That's why Trump should go after them. They weaponized propaganda. They triggered their masses. They lectured and labeled and used marginal groups to actually just be like, okay, how about we just go and fucking exploit all these marginalized groups, and so we can get everyone just riled up, angry, and triggered, and have everyone divide, conquer, and distract, while we don't focus on the actual real fucking structural issues. It pisses me off. That's why I boycott the mainstream media. They can go fuck themselves.
I always feel like the mainstream media, what happened, it's just a changing of the guard. In essence, they're still the same. They haven't changed. They just changed the face of it for a while. They might
They
even
actually
go so
revealed
far.
their true colors.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't matter. They just say, okay, we'll just change this guy because.
Well, Trump has also inspired this kind of uprising in online media. Okay, and that in turn has like affected mainstream media, and it's affected the way like the journalists report things. I mean, it's really incredible what Trump has done to the media, intentional or not. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that to see those changes, he exploited the existing technology and like the amount of people that are just pouring onto these forums now.
But I mean, it feels contradictory when you put someone like Ajit Pai in as the.
No, that was Obama. Obama put in Ajit.
I thought he.
No, Obama
did.
Obama did. The social justice warrior Obama did.
Okay.
He did a 5-year term beforehand, and then the Republicans put him back in. Left him there.
Yeah. So they didn't find to put in a replacement for him, is what it is, I guess.
Well, they didn't want to replace him because he was doing the bidding of Comcast and Verizon and AT&T because he was a lawyer with Verizon.
Yeah,
so he left Verizon, went in, got the job.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's a corporatist like everyone else. But I mean, if Trump is part of this movement of I guess online news, I guess taking over. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to have it so all of that's controlled by certain mega corporations, the ISPs and whatnot. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't forget the end goal of messaging is the same as the end goal of damn near everything else, and that's to make a dime.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to make a dime easier with these consolidated interests, regardless of, it's not all about messaging, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's just about making money straight up, and consolidating interests allow you to do that. Okay. Putting a throttle on the net, for example, will result in consolidating interests even more.
So it's more like it's not necessarily creating change or outing corruption to make the world better, but it's to make the people that you're against, I guess, politically or business wise, for them to hurt and for Trump to gain. And so in that case, the outcome can be beneficial to people in some ways.
My guess is Trump doesn't really give a fuck about net neutrality either way.
Mm-hmm.
If he has his interests and he's not really involved in that sort of business. I'm sure he has stock somewhere, but
he may be.
As long as he's got Twitter, he doesn't give a shit.
I think that he puts up a front of being an establishment puppet to a degree, but I just believe deep down inside he is just Trump. Just Trump.
Yeah. All right. So let's move off of Trump. Do we want to? I think I kind of want to talk about the weather. If people are okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Let's see. What do you guys think it's going to get better or worse? Are there going to be less forest fires? Or things just going to be nice and cool because, weather, not climate?
I tweeted about that today. Today I noticed, how you can smell weather, like you can smell winter. I had all day long, it's just smelled like pre-spring, and the sun felt a little warmer, and then went out much later in the day, and I hear honking in the sky, I look up and we've already got our geese coming in, and it's not time.
Yeah, just so you guys know, it's the weather and not climate yet. So, I guess the difference is
Well, I'll give you from an Australian perspective.
okay.
We're almost halfway through summer here, and usually it's absolutely scorching hot, the weather.
Mm-hmm.
But we're kicking around 72.
Huh.
Like, usually I'm walking around naked. Today I've got shorts on. But yeah, no, it's really strange, the weather. The weather is really, really strange.
Only one article of clothes makes a difference.
It does. It does when you answer the door. But yeah, but I mean, it's really strange that my memories of the weather in summer in Australia is like really, really scorching hot. But nowadays, it really doesn't get that hot anymore.
It usually doesn't.
If that's climate or not.
I think we're changing. We're trading off each other because it's not usually this warm.
It's freezing here. It's like -5 or something, like
Oh
plus
my
the wind.
God.
Yeah, it's really cold here. It seems like every other year we get a big snowstorm over in New England because of the nor'easter, and it's just been getting kind of bigger in some ways.
Bigger?
I mean, it just dumps a lot. There's always some type of blizzard warning that comes around. I think I don't know, maybe that's just normal, or maybe I'm just getting used to it. I don't really know. I do know that this is the quickest I've seen. Like Walden Pond is usually the last pond to get iced over, so that you can ice fish on, and I was able to ice fish before the new year started. Usually, it's not until February, at least a month later. So it seems like the hard winter actually came like a month earlier this year. Anyways, okay, so climate change is, I guess, the next one. So do you think we're going to be... Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I had I took the snapshots before the guy, blocked me.
Okay, let's go with that. Let's see it.
Pretty much the guy who was like, oh, like he was using labels, like how people like to mislabel people and just lecture upon labels of bullshit narrative from like oh, alt-right or or skinhead or whatever, like these idiots that just want to lecture people through stupidity. Because I just tried to be reasonable with the guy, and I'm doing my best to always be reasonable.
So can you tell us how it all started and what like...
I saw a comment that I disagree. I saw a comment that I disagreed with.
Or what was the comment?
They were just labeling HA as a skinhead and an alt-righter. That I thought that was completely stupid. So, like, I didn't get what I said, but I, looked up the history in my Twitter. Like, whatchamacallit? Like, whatever he replied to me. And pretty much the guy calls me a fanboy, that I have no credibility whatsoever. And he called me, you are a Goodman retweeter in chief. Like, it was like, oh my God, these people are just labeling because when I go and support people, of course I'm going to have people's backs.
Mhm.
Like, for those who, who want to hide behind a screen and spew nonsense, I'm not against people who, keep their self anonymous when, when someone tells the truth. But, when people are like, shill trolling,
Yeah.
like, like this person. I mean,
And you come on and talk. I mean,
exactly.
You can invite the guy to come and talk at any time. You know what? He's not going to do it.
He blocked. Well, now he's hiding behind the screen and spewing nonsense. And probably he'll come on here and call me like, oh, you're a white nationalist. Oh, you're a Trump supporter. Oh, like the stupid things.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, why do people just want to lecture with these labels? Why not look at the actual real food fucking labels? Those are the real fucking problems, not people labels. Like, oh, the media, oh, you're white, and the media says, oh, you're a Nazi, or you're a white racist supremacist, or you support the Ku Klux Klan because of the color of your skin. It's like these people just keep spewing this fucking nonsense, garbage, and distraction.
Yeah, they don't
I like
really
to make fun of it though, too, at the same time, because it's like, oh my god, it's like, are people really, really that are real? I just honestly blame, these like lecturing labels. Like, what's the point of them? I mean, I just sit there and laugh at them because they're all fucking pathetic anyway.
Yeah, they don't really want to know more about people. Really, they just kind of have preconceived notions about them and try to win whatever argument that they want to make. I mean, no matter what, it doesn't matter if how long HA's done. Like, what was that a weekly show with Tim Black, and like all these other types of things that would make it. So he's definitely not a white nationalist or skinhead, or especially you, Eric. Like, Shirley
It's
and
like,
me here.
when people want to label me, I was like, okay, you're just lecturing me with these propaganda like words. Like, that's what I like to call, like, oh, evil white. It's like, what's next? I'm gonna wear white socks. Does that make me racist for wearing a pair of white socks? Or oh, I wear black shoes. That means I'm gonna be racist to black people. It's like, people will just come up with the most stupidest fucking things to go and judge and lecture people with this fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
Eric, but we love you.
Oh, I love you too, Rebel.
HA likes to provoke people, and he's good at it.
Yeah.
He's good at pushing people's buttons.
Even
he does it, and he's kind of like hyperbolic at times, but he's not dishonest. Yeah. Like, HA doesn't lie about the things. He presents a particular perspective. How much he himself believes in some of these ideas, I don't know. Like, and then there's others that I'm sure he does believe in, and I just simply disagree with him on, such as his stance on Israel. But people get so worked up over HA. He's not that big of an influence. Like,
no.
Why is everyone giving this guy all this hate? He's trying to start his own media channel and keep it going and make some money. That's fine. I've got no problem with HA.
I mean, I have no
calling him a fucking skinhead and all this other stuff, it's just absurd.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
likes the drama, so
I disagree, because here's one thing. Here's what I did notice, like the hit pieces, on him that were made up. That's like fake news. That's slandering someone who's telling the truth and actually doing what journalists should fucking do. And that's why I follow and support HA. I don't give a fuck what anyone has to say about it. If anyone actually has an issue with him, why don't you actually talk to him? I do DM him a lot, and he's a really nice guy. I got to know him. He's very nice. But why don't you actually approach him with an actual reasonable discussion? You could just try reasoning with the guy.
I've had reasonable discussions with HA, both in DMs and just straight up on Twitter. Like,
Yeah, me
mostly
too.
about Israel. Like, we disagree on it, and we were both reasonable about it. And
But the
there's no
other
reason to get
people
all
that
flipped
aren't
out.
reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand. Like,
It's like people are way too fucking triggered when it comes to like, Hillary Clinton. I'm like a social justice warrior for Hillary Clinton. Let me be triggered. Let me be fucking triggered with nonsense and distraction from like, the media. Honestly, I just see it as like the media just fucking lies to people. They just want to keep people fucking triggered, distracted with, lecture with fucking labels, just like the mainstream media pundits do it. They keep fucking doing that. And plus, with these like the the Young Turks and like, Fudge Pac-Man or whatever his name is, and like, shit triggered Cedar and all these motherfuckers that just want to keep lecturing and labeling.
what the hell is that? He's shit triggered.
Yeah, shit triggered Cedar. And plus all these people that just want to keep lying and lecturing and like, I am such moral superiority. Oh, look at me, I'm lecturing with my moral fucking moral high fiber high ground, and I'm so full of fucking shit. I'm just tired of these fucking people.
Well, the thing is like, neither, like in the example with HA and myself, neither HA nor I are setting foreign policy. Okay, it's not like HA is like shaping public opinion, like, Yeah. So it's just ridiculous. Like, if someone is shaping public opinion on a large scale, then maybe it's time to go after them.
So,
but just for people expressing their opinions or whatever, that's
just
completely unreasonable.
Like people, just be fucking honest. I mean, people could do it without the lecturing labels and just actually communicate with people.
So
that's my thing. I mean, if anyone wants, anybody, just be reasonable.
All right. So, in pertaining to the topic of predictions, what do you think the social justice warrior movement's going to be at in 2018 and beyond? Do you think it's just going to keep growing? Do you think somehow it's going to die off? I mean, I don't see it going away.
I think it'll probably retreat back into academia and universities at some point. That's where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll still be there, and who knows, maybe at some point it'll experience a resurgence. But right now, it's on the down end of that hill.
Totally
you know
agree.
What I'm saying?
You mean as far as less people are being more outspoken about being like kind of social justice warrior type of arguments, or because I feel like there's that it's not. I mean, you've got what's her name? I can't remember her name.
Pretty much like I call the Hillary Clinton supporters. They're like social justice warriors for Hillary Clinton, and plus those who shill for Hillary Clinton. Those are your real social justice warriors that that just want to keep triggering people because they use the mainstream media narrative just to go and fucking trigger people with distraction is bullshit.
Who's the Muslim woman that's kind of a leader of the social justice warrior movement?
I cannot.
What's her name? Eric?
Linda Sassour.
Yeah, Linda Sassour.
I cannot believe her.
I mean, she's getting really popular for doing just that.
Well, she's
getting a lot of money too.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another possibility of what might happen. Okay, like they've whipped people up so much against Trump and against anyone who's like right of Hillary, basically. If you're right of Hillary, you're like super racist, according to a giant portion of the population right now. Okay, there could be a rubber band effect where when Trump gets out of office, these people come into power and they're enraged and irrational. Then they begin implementing more of these things into actual law, like they have in Canada. I mean, that's another possibility that might happen.
they just want to keep using that just to trigger the masses. Here's what the Democratic Party does do. They hang on to the wedge issues, and they just keep manipulating people's emotions, but without reasoning or fact or actually the corruption shit that they have done to groups like that. That's why I'm never going to be a fucking Democrat ever again. The Democratic Party can go fuck themselves.
See,
But
that's
it's
the
on
thing.
both sides, though. I see a lot of.
I am so fucking done with sides. I would
Okay.
rather the only side I really want to side with is those who actually want the truth and actually want actual real true fucking movements and actually stand for something, not spewing this nonsense and bullshit. I'm like people should be done with the fucking corporate media. Those people really, I mean, if those people really do fucking care, they should go out and protest CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, the New York Times, the Washington Post. They all need to be fucking protested. They need to be held accountable. They've colluded with the DNC. They colluded with the DNC. They fucking cheated Bernie Sanders. They elevated Donald Trump. And this is why the shit's happening right now. It's because that fucking cunt Hillary Clinton, the one that can't even blame her fucking self and take any kind of fucking personal responsibility whatsoever, because she remains blameless and shameless. What's next? What's next? She's going to go and blame sexism on her emails again and get offended? Oh, I thought it was the word cunt. Let me be offended.
Eric, all right, this is where I think you've spent too much time with HA, and you need to go to other people to find out the other Democrats that screwed around too. They're all in.
They are all in cahoots. But here's one thing that I do take seriously, and I'm just being really honest. I go. You know what? I go everywhere for information, though. But when it comes to actually supporting people, I like supporting HA. I don't give a fuck what anyone has to say. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I do my own research. Plus, that's what I do. I take my time and do my research.
Well, that's the thing about a lot of these SJW policies is that they actually don't help the people who they claim to want to help. The
Democratic Party has hijacked that too much.
Well,
they keep playing upon that too. And plus,
when you look at you look at the inner cities here in America, that's one example. But we can take it outside of race too. Like, look at what's happened in Canada with the pronouns. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but they've instituted laws in university settings in Canada that pretty much make it illegal for you to use improper pronouns with people. And they've adopted the SJW lexicon of pronouns. So how does that help people who are gay or who are transgender? It gives them some little bone. Okay, people have to call you by this name. It does nothing to address the economics or the academic advancement of students or anything like that. And you see the same thing in America. A bunch of students want to have a safe space on campus. All right, let them do it. And meanwhile, nothing's really being done to help these students facilitate their education. It's just these are just their bones. None of these things have to do with cold hard cash. And that's what really counts in the end. You have to fund programs. You have to fund these things. And instead of funding things, they play these games with people's ideas about race and culture. And they try to confuse people, and they play a shell game, and pretty soon the money's going over here and over there, and it's gone.
Sadly, it does happen. That's why they it's like with these people. Here's one thing. I know some people's, their heart's in the right place, but with some things, their mind might be in another place, and that I do get and I do understand. But it's like if people just really need to have that common ground, it's like just people really need to open up, open up a bit. And like if you hear something that you do disagree with, be reasonable. Don't. I know it's hard for people, and I know no one is perfect by any means. Hell, I'm not perfect. I'll admit to my own mistakes. I'll tell the truth. I used to hate myself, but I don't anymore, thank goodness. On many things, and I don't want to get too personable though. But with one thing, I have learned my lessons on like certain things, and I'm not perfect by any means.
Well, there's been cases of like these groups of students getting rid of deans and stuff, and I mean this kind of stuff really sets a university back financially.
Yeah,
About them
that too.
driving off alumni and things like this, and or funding going into these programs that are easily skimmed off of, or funding being misappropriated to these things that have nothing to do with academia. I mean, this is just on the university setting. When we expand this into the larger culture, that's how we've come up with the phenomena of inner cities. I mean, we've applied the same philosophy, the same fucking around philosophy to our inner cities, and now look at the condition of them. We've trapped like so many people in these places because of these fucking policies. I mean, these are nothing new. The rhetoric is somewhat new, but these policies have been going on since like the 60s. These bullshit policies that are designed to help people, and they don't. And they parade around like, like some kind of white saviors or whatever. And meanwhile, then when election season over, they drive out of the fucking ghetto and they don't look back. I mean, it's been going on for decades. Look at like the housing projects in Chicago. That's a prime example of it. Just pork. People just bleeding money off of that project. Get super rich. Yeah. It's disgusting. And, you just see it's the social justice warrior phenomenon. It has its true believers, definitely. And a lot of them are highly placed in academia. But, when it comes down to it, the reason why you see corporations like Disney adopt them has nothing to do with caring about people or caring about, social issues. That's just an entertainment company.
So I want to talk about Disney's Star Wars. I like to make a prediction about them because of the latest movie that they did. Because it kind of ties into SJW stuff. Like, I feel like they're gonna bomb. They're at least in 2018 they're gonna have the Han Solo movie. I've heard bad stuff about it. I think it's gonna be horribly bad movie. I feel like they're gonna throw it. It seems like Disney's more into the gender. It's like a faux, like a fake racial mix, because they throw in people of color in their movies, but they're not leads. They're not powerful. They're not really like a main character that
got into the entertainment, and they really did ruin the entertainment industry. That's another reason why I don't watch too much TV. I would rather play more video games. Like I only watch very, very small TV at most. I would rather play video games. I would rather do my research. I would rather go outside and actually take a stroll for a walk to get a breath of fresh air. I don't want to ruin the entertainment industry for anybody at all. There are other alternatives though to entertainment that and plus with some things that are just fun and free.
Yeah. All right. So my prediction is because Star Wars is so huge, or at least it was huge, and I would say it's still one of the biggest. I don't know what you would call it. Uh,
Franchise.
Franchises. Yep. There you go. Thanks, Garden. That if they keep touting this SJW stuff within Star Wars, I think
Turns me off.
there could be a big backlash, and that might actually make a big turn as far as like Garden was saying, as it being put in the back burner. As far as they'll just go back to the universities and things like that, academia. But I feel like they're just trying to push it as much as they can in very popular things. I mean, Star Trek Discovery is another one that there's a big backlash of SJW stuff. Star Wars recently.
The other point is we have to consider is that the consolidation of media makes media less responsive to the consumer. Okay? Because they don't give a fuck. Like you're going to buy it because they're 1 out of 5 products out there. Yeah. So it makes it less responsive to the consumer. So it might take a while for them to like drop this narrative or to quit doing it. Maybe they won't stop doing it. Maybe they'll just get so big. And we've seen this tactic within the Democratic Party that they'll just try to force their view on people, and that's it. Disney is a legacy property. It's not going anywhere. So, fuck you.
That's what I'm afraid that, Disney adopted.
So does Disney own Star Trek now?
Yeah, I think so, doesn't it, Eric?
I mean, with me, I don't know. I mean, Star Wars.
Ebon, do you know?
No, they don't own Star Trek. They own Star Wars, and they own pretty much all of Marvel.
Oops, sorry, I got that wrong again. Anytime anybody says Star Trek, my mind goes to Star Wars. Or
yeah, they don't own.
It's like they try to hijack into our like entertainment industry and just what it is, they're really doing damage control to business. It's like they don't fucking care. That's why I'm becoming like less supportive and less supportive and less supportive than just drop the complete support of it all together.
Yeah, I say Disney is a prime target for disinvestment.
Yeah, actually, I think Disney did acquire the rights for Star Trek movies. They don't own the rights for like the TV series. So
it's like there's stuff that Disney owns, and then there's stuff that Disney doesn't own yet. Just give them time.
Yeah. It really does. Here's one thing. It's just like the entertainment industry really does bother me. It's like it's how it's so tainted. And plus, so hijacked. They really have like completely hijacked it, like completely, and just like they really twisted it into something like I really don't want to support or even engage into real conversations about it. I was like, that's not of my interest though. But if you have interest, and go ahead, pursue it. But I mean, that's other people's choices. I mean, with me, it's my choice of what I want to do and what I want to support and what I really want to do. And people want to criticize me for it. Go right ahead, have a conversation with me. I'm more than open to a discussion than rather just spew nonsense and distraction, because that's not what I'm all about. I'm about actually engaging into real conversations and real discussions. I like that.
Yeah. Question for Shirley. Shirley, is that right? Cheryl or Shirley?
Shirley.
Shirley. Okay. Shirley, Amanda, Stevie, since you guys are the females in here, do you think the SJW movement for like feminism is a good thing or a bad thing for women?
It's bad.
It's a bad thing because it's attached to Hillary Clinton.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
Not exactly just her. Let's quit. There's a bunch of bitches that are just hijacking the original feminist movement
Well, I think it's like it's time for the movement to adapt. You know, we're at that point. Like I think back in the day, it was feminism was needed. Okay, but at this point, we've reached a certain level where I think we need to focus more on kind of the equality of everyone. You know, I just think that, I mean, of course, there's still some things that need to be addressed when it comes to women, but, you know, I feel like we're doing more harm than good when we're focusing mainly on that. I think we just need to bring more people into it and really address, like, the ways, I mean, because I've got 2 boys, man, and I worry about, like, the kind of world they're going to grow up in and what kind of effect this kind of, you know, stuff has on them, you know, because I mean it's not just something that hurts women, you know, when there's a bunch of, you know, sexist people out there, it ultimately, you know, it hurts guys too. So it's like, you know, I don't want them to suffer for that. So yeah.
Well, us original Eric, I'm a woman. Us original feminists, we meant for adoption to happen, but we never meant it to like go into something so ugly. We knew that it had to adapt, of course, you know, but we didn't mean for it to do this turn where it's like almost man-hating.
Well, you have to fault the Hillary people. You have to. Because I never saw it before either.
She's not the only one. She's not the only one. There's Warren, there all those females just,
I mean, like we really have to take that movement back. I mean, because it has been co-opted, and now I mean, it's just like, you know, with you know anything else, with racism, everything else. You see the establishment come in and say, "Hey, you know, we're hip. We're one of you guys too. We're in the struggle. We know what it's like." And then they put out like these people like Hillary Clinton, like, yeah, aren't people just so sexist against Hillary Clinton? It's just like, oh, give me a break. Like, I'm sure she gets that. She does get it. But come on, man. She's a rich white lady. Please tell me your problems.
Hillary was like the Bernie Sanders of feminism. You know,
like Hillary Clinton is no feminist. She is no feminist whatsoever. She weaponized the media for corporate feminism. She pretty much tainted and corrupted the actually true meaning of feminism. What she actually stands with is corporate feminism, and that's really fucking dangerous moral authority behavior right there. And plus, you know, women see past like Hillary Clinton's like wrongdoings, like, oh, we feel for you, Hillary. Oh, we feel bad for you. Oh, we feel sorry for you. It's like I'm tired of that. I'm actually tired of women. I'm sorry when I say that. I'm just so tired of women defending Hillary Clinton without looking past.
People are still defending Michelle Obama.
That too.
So come on, let's quit just focusing. You know, if we get our minds focused only on Hillary, we're not going to go for the whole. They're all a part of it.
Do you think a man will ever be ahead of the feminist movement?
No, they shouldn't be.
No,
this is our ground. This is our territory, and it's like just
I'd like to
support us, though.
I'd like to see men and women working together. I'd like to see more of a dialogue instead of, yeah. It just feels like with the SJW movement, there's just so much like this is what the men are doing wrong. It's just like, can't we just have a conversation about like, hey man, like this is where I'm seeing some problems. You know, any problems on your end? Like, you know, are you being treated equally? Like, I just want more of a dialogue. Like, I don't like the one-sidedness of it.
Yeah, I understand that too. And I'm sorry if I'm like, you know, but I'm really passionate about it because I really want. Here's one thing. I just like what Stevie said, Rebel and Shirley, common grounds. I like the conversation. You know, it's like the, you know, the big, you know, it is like the big club, and we're not part of it. It is really like that.
Hi, Tequila. How's it going?
That's truth. Hey, James.
I am very good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, James.
You sound
Helmet head.
you sound exactly like Ebon, James.
Hey, did you guys hear Amazon is buying Target?
What?
Yes,
Really?
Amazon is buying Target.
Wow.
What?
Can I just say something on the feminist thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think each time a country does something that's sort of eliminates the gap between male and females in the workforce and stuff like that should be applauded. So just yesterday, is it Iceland? Yeah, Iceland, who've just mandated that women be paid equally to men, and it's against the law to not. So I think there's things like that that progress the equality movement forward instead of the people who turn out and say and just abuse. So that's my say. Anyway.
Well, it's been well.
Understand why we're not getting equal pay yet, and how come women do not win court cases for it, right? It's never been ratified. It was actually ratified first, the ERA, and then that ratified was taken away, and now it remains not ratified. And we need to get that back into court and have a judge ratify it again to make it enforceable. We are not ratified yet.
Well, the commonly accepted numbers are messed up. Like, they don't take into account a lot of things, and they've been generally debunked as far as you know. It seems to me that I looked at the source of the, what is it, like 67% or something? 67% of what a man makes, I believe, is the current number. And it doesn't take into account things like childbirth and things like that. And I'd imagine it's probably closer to 80. Now, 80 is a real number, and again, I'm not an economist, so don't judge me, but it's 80 is a real number. The first thing that if the feminist movement wants to get these things addressed is that they got to be real. They can't use these jinked up numbers and there is a real issue. If there's a 20% gap, then that's a real issue. But it's different than shaving off more points to make it more extreme than it actually is. That just makes you look disingenuous, and it discredits your movement.
What I'd like to see is more education when it comes to negotiation tactics. I mean, that's something I think we could all benefit from. But I just think that women just don't have that same, we don't, I guess maybe where we're just not used to it, maybe we don't get as much experience with it because, like you said, with a lot of women, you've got childcare, all these other different, tasks that, men may not deal with as much. So it's that's not our mindset, our mindset's a little bit different, especially after you've had a family and stuff. I've seen this in workplaces. I know that's anecdotal, but, personally, I don't know how to negotiate. I'm just every time I go in a job, I'm whatever you pay me. I did this with one of my jobs. I was making 12 something an hour. And this guy that got hired on at the same time was making $15 an hour. I was what the fuck, bro? But then again, he could have had experience in that field or something. So who knows? But, I would like to see more, educational materials out there when it comes to how to negotiate. But does anybody really get to negotiate their pay anymore?
I think it all depends on the market, how populated it is.
Yeah.
I also think it's the role that you're going into as well. If you're going into a low entry level role, then you're not going to have the clout behind you to say, look, I don't want $12.50 an hour, I want 15. They're just going to turn around and say, well, I'll just go and get somebody else. But if you're a CEO and you walk in and say, well, I want $5 million a year, then it's a totally different situation. You know what I mean?
Well, and the other issue is a lot of the people spearheading the feminist movements, again, they're from like academia, and a lot of these women don't have the kind of family life that the majority of women have. What the feminist movement should be suing for is they should be suing corporations like Target and Walmart to provide child care subsidies or something. That's what they should be suing for. I mean, programs that are going to help children are going to help the majority of women in the country, whether you like it as like an East Coast elitist or not. The majority of women have these kind of traditional lives, and if you want to help them, you'll support child and family programs, not these ideologically based initiatives like where you juggle numbers around and then put it before a court and hope that the judge is ideologically aligned with you. I mean, again, it's
Well,
about money.
Didn't a group of women sue Walmart before about pay or something, and they lost?
I don't think Walmart.
A few years ago.
I don't think.
You talking about how they weren't hiring women in management roles and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah, I've heard some really shady stuff about the Walmart and how they don't promote women. They don't promote anybody of color. It's just like, like old white guys usually.
Oh wow, snark! I feel like You
see, I've never heard of a case of discrimination that blatant, Snork. I think that would be a rarity. Where they publicly state it like that, they'd open themselves up to liability if they made a statement like that.
That seems weird.
I feel like if you're going to pay women less, wouldn't we see more women in the workforce? Because if corporations are paying less to get the same amount of skill and work, wouldn't we see more women?
Well, I've seen the conspiracy theory about that's why there was this huge push, back in the day to have women join into the workforce and stuff, is because, you want more of them in there in order to, you're gonna treat them a lot worse than you are them. I mean, same thing you see with immigrants and stuff. Like they want to bring those people, and they want those people because they know that they can get by with that stuff if they hire them. So, that's all. I don't have any facts on that, of course.
Well, in the upper level positions, you don't just hire. You decide which person that you think is a viable candidate. You take it to your supervisor, and it's between the supervisor and HR the amount that you're going to be allowed to offer. Basically, you don't make the offer. HR says how much the money's going to be. And but in the larger companies I went for, much higher than most people are used to for positions. Females automatic 50%. And some of you really had to show much more diligence in order to be able to get a female employee. And it was absolutely shocking how much you had to go through. If I found a candidate that had a master's, and I still could only offer her 50%, somebody with a bachelor's trying for the same job, a male trying for the same job with a bachelor's. Later on in the negotiations, not negotiations as in the job, but let's in a design meeting where reviewing something that's going on, the males back in the 90s would tend to almost exclude the females. I'd have to make comments to be able to let the female engineers speak up, because it would tend to be a shouting match between the male engineers to get something done. So, the only master's degree engineer I had was a female. So I'd say, I'd like to have her opinion.
That part I remember.
So, do you think we will end up having equal pay for women with men first, or actually have a law where there's a federal vacation time?
You know, if you do it as a law, it will have negative repercussions. It needs to be shaming. You know, like if you have a reputation for not being fair to your women, you are not a viable company. That is the only thing that works. You know, in the case of the protected status and the what do they call affirmative action, it's usually very negative. So that it ends up when you do have a minority in a higher position, they get viewed as a token, or they get viewed as the affirmative action candidate, and it's very difficult for them to be taken seriously when you send them in on something. So, like I said, it ends up being that in many organizations, higher level positions that aren't white tend to be HR and safety, or in the sales crew, the same thing. And there's still an issue of many of the international companies we've had as clients where you know, you would not see it permissible for a black to be promoted to an upper level management position at all.
And that's the other thing. Our conversation has been kind of limited to the context of the United States here. And with international companies increasing influence, I mean, that really does become an issue.
And I've
seen some pretty blatant sexism and racism.
One company that was moved from the United States to Mexico, 50 factories. And one of the top 5 reasons they gave was they would not have to hire blacks in Mexico.
Yeah.
That's crazy stupid. Okay, so my mom, she worked 3 jobs. She had 4 kids. My dad was an entertainer. He was all over the place, wasn't around that much. But there were lots of times where I would hear her and my aunt talking, you know, I wanted that job, but I couldn't get it because I didn't know too much about it or whatever, but it's just, she wasn't getting paid as much as some of the guys, you know, back in the day. And this is like the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. So the inequality has been around for a long time. So the only issue that I'm seeing is I think it needs to be like an HR situation. Human resources needs to have a protocol, just like sexual harassment. If you're not treating your employees equally in regards to pay, in regards to the same kind of work, if they're doing the same kind of duties and responsibilities and everything, then they should get paid equal pay.
But isn't HR just to make sure the corporation doesn't get litigated by breaking any type of law? But
yeah,
there's no law against.
So what I'm saying is there should be. I was going to say there should be some kind of federal law. That people should get paid. If they're doing the same job and have the same responsibilities and have the same duties, they have the same experience, they should get paid accordingly.
Right, and I'm telling you that if we got ratified, that would do it, because then it's enforceable. It gives the courts the right to go and say you're not doing your job as a company and making sure a woman gets paid the same thing. There have been 5 women that in the past 3 years that have taken their company to court to get pay, and they tried to use the ERA as and they lost their court battle because the ERA is not ratified. We need to get our lawmakers to ratify it. Whoever's desk it needs to get put on and signed.
One thing that really helped, what California just did with the making it illegal to ask or find out what their previous pay was. And that was really how they leveraged a lot on how they would keep the female salaries down, because the previous place was likely to have had the low pay for females too. So you were automatically justified in saying, well, this guy's last position paid $50,000. and we have to pay $75,000 to get him. However, she was making 45, or let's say 24,000, and they're saying that if we paid her more than 50, that would be more than double her pay. So only offer her 40, and then come up as high as 45.
And that childcare also plays a part in that too, because you see a lot of women that after they have kids, they'll take a long break from work. And so what they were making, 10, 20 years ago back before they had kids, is going to be drastically lower than what anybody would be making now. So yeah, that's another extra penalty against them.
What about prenatal care? Prenatal care. That needs to be, taken into account as well. Prenatal care. So when you're not just you're having a kid and you need to go, because I've seen girls pregnant at work, just like you're about to pop. I don't know, but and they're okay with that, but I think they should have better prenatal care.
Can I give you the perspective of Australian?
Sure. Just 1 second. So what are people's predictions? When will we have equal pay between the genders in America?
You got to go back to that ratification. What's the predictions of that happening? Not for a while.
A date and like a time and like a year?
Do you think we'll have it in 2020, 2024?
No.
2028?
2024. I'm gonna guess 2024.
Yeah,
I'm being positive. I'm just being positive.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're going to run, some corporate, woman on some side. So, whenever we get that corporate woman in the White House, we'll get some kind of weak ass laws, kind of that really won't do a whole lot. But maybe by the time, they build on that 2024, maybe 2028, something like that. That's my prediction.
3 generations, 80 years.
Wow.
Way to go, Stork.
All right. Sorry, Yaki, go ahead.
Yep, and by then, you'll be a 12-year-old girl working into a factory for, the same amount that the 12-year-old boy's working for. $2 an hour.
One day, my great-great-granddaughter.
While we bicker over, who gets what of this corpse that we're chewing on, we're forgetting the bigger picture that someone else from the outside is coming in and taking chunks and chunks and chunks away. And that's, I think, what we need to focus on.
All right. So, sorry, Ryan, go ahead. Yaki.
So in Australia, when you are pregnant, you can work right up to you're about to pop, but you also have the ability to end, I think it's 7 months. You can go on maternity leave. But in Australia, men and women can go on paternity leave, but the government pays you 75% of your salary for when you're on maternity leave. But it's not the full amount. I think it's 75%. I think Australia works on that 75% rule on everything. You don't get your full wages up to 150,000, but you'll get 75%. And then what the government also does is they help pay childcare bills. Wow. So if a woman wants to go back to work before her maternity leave is up, but has to put the child in childcare, then the government will subsidise part of the childcare payment, so she can go back to work. And it's an amount of money that doesn't have to be paid back. It goes on the total welfare budget for the country. So yeah, it's not ideal. It's not the best model, but it's better than women having to stay out of work for 5 years before the kid has to go to school type thing.
But does it go according to your income? Do you have to be low income?
No, up to 150,000.
See, that's great. See, in the United States, you have to be low income to get subsidized.
See, I
Yeah,
think
nah.
we should have a system that allows for one or two parents alternating or whatever combination you want to put it in that lets them stay at home for 5 years. Because if you want to create like a damaged society, what you do is you separate kids at an early age for 8 hours a day from their parents, and you throw them in a group where no one like really cares about them, and you know, now you get damaged kids.
Yep,
All
sorry.
right. So I want to segue into government paid time off. I have for the end of until the end of 2018, I have 32 days of paid time off because just the company I work for. But as a as an American, the government, we get 0 for everything. I mean, nothing. There's no law that gives us
Okay.
paid time off from work.
In Australia, you have, if you're full-time, part-time, you're guaranteed 4 weeks of annual leave a year, fully paid 4 weeks of annual leave, paid by your employer. It's part of your salary. If you're a teacher in Australia, because we we have school through the whole year, but teachers get 12 weeks off, and then they work a little bit in between. Depending on your job, you can. They're saying for police officers, give them 9 weeks worth of annual leave a year to deal with the stress, and paramedics and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's where Australia stands on the situation. If you're fully employed, full time, part time, you have to be given annual leave.
Yeah. So, when do we think America's going to hop on this? I mean, we're
like 30 years minimum before we get like a mandatory week. You know?
I agree.
Get nothing. Like, it's probably going to get worse. We'll probably produce more, work more hours, and get less in 20 or 30 years.
So depressing.
It's just weird how these other countries are taking care of their people and the United States not. All they focusing on war, war, war.
And another thing with it is, if say you stay with an employer for 5 years and you don't take any annual leave, it accrues, so it builds up. So over 5 years you get 20 weeks, and then if you leave that job, they have to pay you out 20 weeks worth of annual leave.
Just keep rubbing it in, man. Just keep rubbing it in. My God.
No, actually, there's a lot of companies that do that.
It's a debt they can't get out of.
Actually, there's a lot of companies here that do that.
Yeah,
my ex-husband worked for 2.
Yeah,
but it's not. That's mandated under Australian law, though, right?
Yeah, that's the.
I think it's based on state for us.
It's in our laws in Washington. Yes.
Yeah.
And then if you work for a company for 7 years, you're guaranteed 3 months worth of leave at 75%. And it's called long service leave.
That's what we have up here.
Yeah. So if you work for a company for 7 years, you can take 3 months off at 75% pay on the company's dime.
That's any job, not the bureaucratic job, like working for the city or the state or
any job.
Any job up here.
Any job, full-time, part-time.
Can you guys start putting what states you're in, please? Because
mine's Washington.
I know. I'm just saying, be helpful.
That encourages companies to develop employees. You know, who wants to pay out 20 weeks worth of that stuff for nothing? You know, I mean, so why not just keep them on if there's a little bit of a problem here? If there's a little bit of a problem, like you're just out and replaced.
Yeah, I think it's also like a bit of a bartering tool. Like, can you give me a pay rise or I'll leave and you'll have to pay me out 20 weeks. You know what I mean? It's sort of like a bargaining tool that a lot of people use. But a lot of companies will force you to go on annual leave so they don't accrue that debt.
But in the U.S., because we have such a capitalistic system based on just corporate pay, it's a good haggle sometimes if you can find a job that gives you more vacation pay, but less salary, and eventually you get more, you get like a 3% raise. It's kind of a good stepping stone for the next job, because getting say 4 weeks paid leave as opposed to one, that 3 weeks also makes a difference for your base salary. So sometimes you just kind of look into just everything you can get, and then just kind of say that's where your negotiations take place for your salary for your next job.
Good night, everybody.
All right, good night,
Good
Garden.
night.
Good night, Gordon.
Also, Australia has a 9% superannuation payment, so which is 9% of your wages on top of your wages that have to go into a superannuation fund. I think 401k, is that what you call it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no matter what job you have, if you're getting paid, and your employer has to pay another 9% on top of what you're already earning into a superannuation fund for you.
So it's like,
and that goes to where?
401. It's similar, but not as much.
Yeah, it just goes into a fund,
yeah,
into a superannuation fund, and then that money gets invested on your behalf. Therefore, it makes a profit, but you don't have to pay tax on it. You don't have to pay tax on the money that goes in there. So it was a way of securing people don't have to rely on what we call the age pension. So people can fund their own retirement, but it sort of hasn't worked, because in 2008 a lot of people lost a lot of money, and so did the superannuation funds. So yeah, it was just a matter of time, really. And now there's a lot of people without money having to live on the age pension, which is like really way below the poverty line. People can't afford to have electricity and stuff.
All right, guys. I'm gonna kind of end the session on predictions. What do you guys think about the prediction stuff? Do you guys like it?
Did I miss a few? Can you just give me a couple of the ones I missed?
Trump, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton.
Shot. She's gonna get shot. Go ahead.
Hillary Clinton.
Shot. She's gonna get shot. Go ahead.
Weather, climate change.
It's gonna domino. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. Go ahead.
Mr. Positive tonight.
All right. We know what your answers are going to be. So,
hey, before I go, I just want to tell everybody I've got Josh Jones coming back tomorrow. We're doing a lightning quick, kind of getting to know Josh. That was kind of like a prerequisite. He just wanted to test things out. It's going to be quick. We're going to make it quick questions, and then he's going to stay on for questions. So I'm going to do, like you're doing, like a quick segment for him. We're going to try to buckle all his issues and things he's supporting, et cetera, down into a finite thing, a finite segment, and then we're just going to jump into open forum. I'm going to try to do it within like a half hour. Go wish me luck, and I'm going to need a couple people to help me. Also, Snork, I've got a guy. His name's Les McGlosky. He's a mechanical engineer. The guy just kind of blew my mind when I was talking to him down in San Clemente. I think you guys are going to be on together pretty soon. And then also Public Watchdogs, a group that watches all of the people in California, public utilities companies. They overwatch public utilities companies. And I've got Charles Langley, Robert Pope, going to be on here on Montauk pretty soon. I'm just saying, and these are guys you're going to want to know, Snort. These are all engineers and stuff and stuff that's good for you to know. Okay. And everybody else will be here. Thank you so much.
Stay on. I'm just going to end the stream for a quick second, make some adjustments, and put it back on. So
Hillary will be a plane crash, and Trump will be Hillary will be a green hammer, and Trump will be the plane crash. First,
No, Trump
She
just
survived.
slip and fall in the bathtub with Melania right there. Oh, I'm so
She
sorry.
survived the fire at her house.
But I don't want Pence.
Oh yeah,
All right.
Clinton had a fire at her house.
All right, guys.
Mhm.
All right. So stay on, people in live chat. It's gonna stop for a second, and I'm just switching some stuff around. So